Hello, everyone. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at J. Moore, PR maven, writer, and frustrated baker. Today's show is sponsored by the Pearlstone Center, and let me read the commercial to you. Pearlstone Center is honored to partner with LifeBridge Health and the Associated to say thank you to our health care heroes. Donate a farm-to-table meal from Pearlstone Kitchen to nourish these caregivers while they care for those in need. Visit pearlstonecenter.org/Pearlstone Kitchen. And of course, my laptop just went to blue screen. So we're going to have to work that out here too. I'm very excited today. Today's guest is Bonnie Benwick, recently retired Deputy Food Editor and Recipe Editor of the award-winning Washington Post, and that's 10 James Beard Awards. As you all know, the Washington Post has a vibrant national and international readership. Bonnie is the editor of the top-selling The Washington Post cookbook, and top of her list of accomplishments, a first-time bubby. Welcome, Bonnie.
Hey, Dara, it's great to be here.
It's good to have you here. Right now, I went to a blue screen on my laptop, so we're going to see if we can bring it back. But let's get started with the interview. I might not be able to read the questions.
Oh, bummer. Let me just say hi to everybody that logged on. They had to put up with a couple of days of vainglorious self-promotion on Instagram. So if you're joining us, thank you. I'm not used to all this.
Technology. I was all set. It was all golden. I had it set up, and then I hit to refresh, and I went to a blue screen. Bonnie, welcome to the Food Enthusiast. We chatted the other day. We probably could have talked for hours upon hours, but you had a Zoom meeting, so time ran a little bit short. 39 years in journalism. Was that your intention when you graduated with the English degree?
Oh, absolutely not. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I was going to teach, and I did that for about a year, substitute teaching, and then I filled in for one particular teacher who had to leave the academic year. And as it turned out, that really wasn't for me. So I moved to Washington. I fell into technical editing. I did that for a couple of years. And then when a job opened up, an editorial assistant job at the Army Times Publishing Company, I grabbed it. And that was the beginning of a long career of more desk work than really, beat work or writing or pounding the pavement, stuff like that. But journalism is turned out to be exactly right up my alley. I work with really smart people. I got to do different things every day. I got to write. I got to know people, and the thing that I missed since I retired last July is really the interaction with readers, particularly in the food section, in the food world. It's just an endlessly fascinating subject to me and to a lot of people, and particularly these days, food is much on the mind, whether or not you like making it or whatever. We've all got to eat, right? So, right.
I agree with you on that one. I can't skip a day for a couple hours. What can I say? I'm just trying to revive the computer as we talk.
Yeah, considering while you're doing that, you and I were reminiscing. We had a great dinner. God, you said it was like 11 years ago?
It was 8 years ago when I handled. Yeah, I was managing the kitchen for the Harbor Food and Wine event down at National Harbor.
Yeah, you're a many-hatted person, Dara.
Right, that's why my hair looks a little flat here. No, we did dinner. Sarah Moulton, Natalie Dupree they were at the kitchen for the wine and food show down at National Harbor, and you had invited Natalie, and we got together with David Hagdehorn and Barrow. I always just say Mrs. Wheelbarrow, Kathy Barrow, and
hi, Kathy.
Hi. So we had a great time, and I think David was writing a cookbook along with the chef that was down there. We were down
Yeah,
at,
Cahal Armstrong. Yeah, he's
thank
at
you,
his
thank you.
restaurant in Alexandria, which I'm not
Uh,
sure it's there anymore. But anyway, it was a wonderful evening, and I think Natalie was really, when I first got to the food section, I'd been at the Post since 1989, part-time, full-time since 93. I got to the food section in 2004. She was the first person I called to do an interview for a story. It was like, I can pick up the phone and talk to anybody I want. And I'd watched her on television and I had her cookbooks and it was like, oh yeah, I can do this. So it was totally about me and my self-interest, of course, with a thin veneer of journalism attached to it.
Natalie has such a good sense of humor and has been the first look at Southern food with her show.
Yeah,
So
she just
I
joined Virginia Willis, kind of a sort of a protege of hers, a little bit. Just got her on Instagram, so I really hope she's watching in some form. But I love Natalie. I got to stay at her house a couple times when I would go down for the festival. We're in touch every now and then. She's got some connection in Washington that she comes up every now and then, and I love her. She's ageless and just whip smart. She just continues to be. She knows everything about everything.
we're both lucky in our careers. You maybe more so. Is there anybody that stands out in your mind beyond Natalie or memory that comes to you from your time at the Washington Post that made you laugh, made you cry? Some of the memorable moments.
People who know me know this story, but we didn't really have a kitchen to shoot in or cook in. And by hook and crook, I sort of commandeered the kitchen in the corporate suite, where the publisher and the president
Right.
of the company were. They had a chef up there who didn't use it all the time. And so we got to invite people to come and cook. Jacques Pepin came. He spent the day with us. Boy, it was just so long ago. And maybe 2006 or 2007, he spent the day shopping and then he came and cooked, and just watching his knife work. I mean, that's the most mesmerizing thing, right? When he comes, he was just here, within the past, oh God, like time has gone out of my head. 6 months ago, 4 months ago or something, he was at the Smithsonian. He broke down a chicken in like 2 minutes, with a small knife. And he was doing stuff like that in front of me and, peeling apples all in one piece and just making sort of something out of nothing. He chose flank and ribs, which I hadn't really cooked with before, short ribs. And, it was wonderful to be with him in the kitchen, just be with him, there was a photographer there, but I was on another planet. And another time, Thomas Keller came. Usually, it was sort of like visiting firemen. We called them the chefs. Anybody who had a new cookbook would come in town and they would set up a session, and at least we would get to see them do something in the kitchen. I had to do a lot of prep work before Thomas Keller came. I think it was around, it was a long time ago, and I was rather intimidated. So it was in May, or it was before corn was really out, but there was some corn in stores, and he was just going to do a very simple cream corn, right? So I got the corn, fresh corn. I went to a farmer's market at like X o'clock in the morning, to the producer and said, you have to give me this because it's going to be on camera. I had limes, and I zested the limes, and I had everything sort of set and ready to go. And Chef Keller is a very tall, lanky, elegant seeming kind of guy in the kitchen, unassuming, quiet. He sort of looked at the prep ingredients and he smelled the corn. He peeled the husk back. He smelled the corn and he just sort of said, it's a little vegetal, but I think it'll be okay. And my heart is starting to sink. And then he looked over at all the lime zest that I had just zested. It had a lot of like white pith in it, and he just sort of, he took the microplane zester and he took another lime and he just sort of stroked it, like not Bugs Bunny fast, not, but just like stroked it, and only the green zest came off, falling exactly where it was supposed to fall on the plate. He said, you can just do it like this and it's easy. He wasn't rebuking me, but I felt like my ears were boxed, and I learned something every time I zest a lime. I think about him. Long story
What's
for a
this?
short punchline.
Yeah, I have the screen back up.
Yay.
So I've been listening. Let's see. So let's go through this. Jeffrey Spears says, hola, amiga. Let's see. Sherry Fagers, hi, Bonnie. Great to see
She's my
you.
cousin, Pages from Atlanta.
Well, hi, Sherry, cousin. Susie Silverman Fages, hi, Bonnie from the Fages family.
Pages, yes. Rhymes with Pages. I love them. We've been in touch. We've been Zooming, and we had a virtual Passover together. That was kind of fun.
Jeffrey's saying he's hearing the clicking noise. Yes, we haven't been able to determine what that is. Next show, hopefully we'll have that resolved. I kept turning down the volume on this.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions?
I'm looking. Let's see. We got more. Let's see. Always something new. We're working on it. Okay, about the noise. Okay. For more from Bonnie, we're posting Bonnie's website, which is Bonnie S. Benwick. Be sure to put the S in there because there's another Bonnie Benwick. And follow her on Instagram, which is B. Benwick. She does a lot on recipes, so we don't want to forget that. Sherry, and it's a beautiful kitchen. Love the famous signatures on the back of the door there. I'm just seeing if there's any more questions.
Yeah. Oh, that door thing was not at my house, but at the Washington Post in the test kitchen. Chefs and cookbook authors who came through got to sign. We asked them to sign the back of a big stainless steel, back and forth door. It was really fun.
Our common friend Janice McLean is watching. So hi, Janice.
Hi, Chef.
Let's see. Have friends who should see them. I'm just reading real quick, and I don't want. Okay, so we'll take this up, and hopefully we'll get. I'm going to try to do this. Who knows why?
Thanks for tuning in, and everybody. Anyway, on Instagram, you had asked me to address this. I think since I look back on my feed, I would say maybe since January or something. I live by myself, and I just get to cook what I want and bake what I want. I really like to bake. I'm kind of more of a baker than a cook, I think, but I like it all, and especially anything with kind of crunch. So a lot of cookies, but there are not a lot of cookie recipes for one. So I had to figure out a way to share them, and I did some. I started off being involved in some recipe testing for upcoming cookbooks. And so when I would make this stuff, I would share it with friends of mine who aren't cooking for themselves, people who were in need. A couple people in the neighborhood reached out to me because I posted something on the listserv. So I am producing amounts of food, more than I can eat, but so far none of it's gone down the drain. It all gets disseminated. I also live in the English basement of a house, really nice landlords, and so they get the good and the bad. stuff that turns out really well, and stuff that they'll eat it anyway. They're vegetarian, so they don't get everything, but it's been rewarding that way.
Keep vegetarian on your mind. I need to do a commercial.
All right. I am not vegetarian, but I was actually, I would say for the first couple of months of the lockdown, I was eating a lot less meat. Just didn't really see it a lot in the store. I went on a brief hiatus from all things chicken, but now I'm getting, I order fish that I pick up from a truck in the parking lot of Rodman through Profish and Ivy City Seafood, and their stuff is just so good. So I'm, wigging out on salmon. They also offer limited amounts of other kinds of meats every now and then, so I'll pick that up. But generally I have found, in terms of shortages and things, I know we were also talking about, the flour and the yeast and I don't think it's been more than once that I have had trouble getting anything. I live within a mile or so walk of a Yes Market on Georgia Avenue, and there aren't that many people in there. The produce is a little pricier, but they've had flour, they've had yeast. Rodman's has the really good SAF brand yeast, which my chef pal and friend Alex Levin told me that I should use many years ago, and I have ever since then. I keep it comes in kind of a big block, the dry stuff, but I keep it in the refrigerator and the freezer, and just never, run out. I also broke down and did the sourdough starter thing, so I've got that going as well.
Okay, keep looking at the computer, back and forth, back and forth. Let me shout out to the Pearlstone Center. Is honored to partner with LifeBridge Health and the Associated to say thank you to our healthcare heroes. Show your gratitude and appreciation by donating a farm-to-table meal from Pearlstone Kitchen to nourish these caregivers while they care for those in need. Pearlstone will deliver dinner to the LifeBridge facilities, Sinai Hospital, and Levendale Hebrew Geriatric Center and Hospital. And don't forget to take care of yourself too. Enjoy healthy, delicious Pearlstone kitchen dinners and let them do the cooking for you. Visit pearlstonecenter.org/pearlstone-kitchen. So coming back, yes.
Good for them. That's hard.
That they are. They are a spinoff from the JCC. I'm not sure what the formulation was, but it used to be Camp Milldale. It's a beautiful facility way out Reisterstown Road. And it's actually an area that you can go stay, and there's canoeing and many different things going on. You can even rent a...
Annie Grower and I were just talking about coming up to Reisterstown Road. It had been many, many, many years since I did kind of a crawl through the kosher and not kosher places up there. The Knish shop, is that still around, by the way? Do you know?
Knish shop is still around. It's a new owner from...
That's great.
I say new owner. It could be 5 years since they've had it, but it's not the original owners. There's one of our advertisers, Kesh Hummus Bar and Kebab Place.
Mm-hmm. For people who don't know, this is sort of outside Baltimore, but not very far.
Right.
But we were talking, spend a day doing that, and then she didn't feel well, and then it turned into another universe. So, we'll do it. We vowed to do it once everything lightens up.
Well, when you go to do it, let me know, because I can take you through some of it and tell you what's new.
Great.
Vegan cooking. You did an interview with a young lady who had a vegan kosher business, and the growth spurt on vegan has been tremendous. Do you see that growing even more?
Taking over the world, no, but certainly one of, I think, the good things that's come out of more people having to cook at home is the availability. People can appreciate the availability of more and more fresh produce now that it's spring and things are coming in season almost every week, as well as the versatility and availability of frozen vegetables. So, it's just good to add them to things. I'm not like a huge vegetable eater, to tell you the truth. There's like a whole bunch of brassicas that I really don't like very much. The cooking taste of them, I'll eat them raw, but I'm not a broccoli sprout. I'm not a Brussels sprouts person. I'm not a cauliflower person.
Not cabbage either.
No, cabbage I like. I mean, but it's it's sort of the cook smell of those things, the sulfurous stuff. Anyway, I mean, that's just me. But the bottom line is, vegan is never gonna be the majority of people who eat, just because you probably do have to do something to it. I mean, I am really interested and fascinated to look back in 5 or 10 years and see what this pandemic has done to people's cooking habits at home. There was a opinion piece, an op-ed piece in the Outlook section last Sunday by some folks I know, very, very smart people, but they were just saying, people want convenience and they're going to go right back to it the minute that they can. And I respectfully disagree. I think this has taught people that you don't have to spend 4 hours in the kitchen. You know, the cleanup, the kitchen fatigue. I get that. I have it myself. I have a dishwasher, but I don't put a lot of stuff in the dishwasher, pots, pans, knives, things like that. So, you know, my hands look like, you know, that Madge commercial from 40 years ago. And I, you know, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I know now what it takes, how much time I can take if I want to take the time, and things that I can pick that don't take much time at all. And I'm hoping that other people have gotten used to that too.
We have some more questions, but before I forget, we're talking about cooking quickly. Your dinner in minutes column, isn't that something that you started for the Washington Post?
No, it's actually something I sort of took over. It had been started in the 80s sometimes, I think, possibly under Nancy McKeon's food editorship. And there was a series of freelancers who did it. There were a couple of staffers who did it on and off. Different people contributed to it. And I think I did it for about 11 or 12 years. And the last couple of years of it, it got revamped slightly to adhere to a rather limited pantry when it came under the heading of the voraciously vertical that's on WashingtonPost.com/food. So
we have
it was a challenge. It was fun. I could make dinner anywhere from 15 to 40 minutes. And the thing that I liked about it that was different was that I wrote the recipe in order of how you use and prep the ingredients. Instead of one onion chopped, I would just call for an onion. And then in the directions of the ingredients, I would say, you're chopping the onion. What I tried to teach people was to sort of multitask in a way that wasn't too overwhelming. Like while the onion was sauteing, that's when you were prepping the next ingredient or pouring out the measure of the liquids that you needed or something like that. So, and got to know a lot of readers that way. And I got feedback from readers all the time, good and bad, mostly good. And I learned a lot. I got some recipes from chefs. I got some from cookbooks. I didn't have too much time to develop some of my own, but now I do. So, and the column continues under the auspices of Anne Maloney, who's the new recipes editor there at the Post, and she's doing a great job.
Well, of course, I'm losing the whole thing again.
Watch outside the window. Looks like a nice.
Well, a lot of them were asking. It was Jeffrey and another friend. What is your favorite dish? What is the favorite thing that you like to cook? And
let's see. So anything really that's got delivers some crunch, and I have a little bit of a sweet tooth. So the cookie thing, obviously, pastry stuff, bread stuff. I will never turn down a plate of pasta unless it has, like broccoli and Brussels sprouts in it. And sort of been dinking around with making sauces, easy sauces. I think that's something that people don't do at home as much, or they tend to, get something out of a pouch because it's pretty easy to do these days. And some of those things are really good, but I think it's also fun to make a pan sauce for something at home.
I've got this back. We can't stop the clicking when I talk, but it's better than the buzz we had last week. Jeffrey Spear says, what kitchen tools or gadgets are absolute favorites?
Thank you for asking. I love this. I'm thinking about, I don't know if I can turn this into anything marketable, but do you know what a Tammy is? You do, Dara, right? Because you're you.
I'm trying to think with my memory. A Tammy, I think, is like a sieve of some.
Yeah.
Cloth.
Basically, it's a So think of like though I should have had it with me. It's the one that I have now that I'm using almost every day is picture like the ring of a springform pan, and then stretched across the one side of the ring is a fine mesh screen that's attached. So that's all it is. It's like panning for gold. Instead of instead of any other strainer that I need for anything, I use this Tammy. I remember watching some chef making, like Jean-Georges pureed potatoes by sort of taking the cooked potatoes and using a scraper and smearing it through the Tammy. It made
Right.
like the creamiest, smoothest potatoes. I use it for draining pasta and vegetables. I use it for defrosting things. I use it for straining stock. I use it for
Custard too.
Oh yeah. I use it for
Cu-
sifting flour, sifting all kinds of flours. I mean, it's a big enough base that if you put it right over a bowl, you're not like shaking it all over the counter. It just goes right in the bowl because it pretty much covers the bowl. It's very easy to clean. I mean, it's one of those things that's pretty prevalent in a commercial kitchen, but it didn't quite translate to a home kitchen. So instead I've got that ceramic colander, the big one that people use for pasta with the foot on it. And I've got, various different sizes of the handheld fine mesh things. But this thing is the only thing that you need. So you can get rid of those other things. And it costs, I think the one that I picked up when I went to visit my Page's cousins in Atlanta was about 15 or 16 bucks, made out of stainless steel, and goes through the dishwasher, but I don't put it through the dishwasher because I'm a little worried about the rust on the edges of the thing. But I literally, I use it all the time. So get yourself one of those. TAMIS, I think is how you spell it.
Sherry Fagus, can you recommend a good, simple vegetarian cookbook?
Yeah, I am reviewing cookbooks these days. And so one that I personally have been cooking out of myself is a woman who was a finalist on the Great British Bake Off, Chetna. I'm going to botch her last name, McCann, maybe. She's done a couple of vegetarian cookbooks. This most recent one that she did is not, again, I should have it with me. It's not very big. It doesn't call for very many Indian ingredients. You're not toasting spices and oil every single time with every single recipe. I think she's got a pretty good handle on, what people can do. And I've liked everything I've cooked out of it so far.
What are you doing
I think it's called Chetna McCann's Healthy Indian.
What are you doing in retirement?
Well, there's kind of a like before and after, right? So before I was speaking to groups and I was doing a little bit of traveling, and I did some food styling for cookbook authors that come in town when they hit those morning shows. You and I talked about this too. All the prep that goes into the presentation for a 2-minute episode or something. There's a lot that goes into it. So I was doing that a little bit. Just sort of things were falling in my lap and I was staying really, really busy. Writing a little bit, editing, doing some cookbook editing for a publishing house. Since then, since the lockdown, things have been slower, but I've been doing some editing, a little writing. I feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to sort of pick and choose a little bit, a little less now. I'm also volunteering one day a week at the World Central Kitchen at Nats Park, which I love doing. It's an amazing operation. Chef Matt Adler, and he's got a crack team there of chefs who do this 6 days a week. They're putting out tens of thousands of meals a week. I mean, the one day that I'm there, we might do 12,000, 13,000 meals or something. And it's really ramped up. I've just been doing it a little over a month. And the vastness of the need and the safety measures that they've put in place for us to work. We work separate from each other. We wear masks and gloves. They take your temperature. Anytime we switch a task, if we switch from like packing food to cleaning at the end of the day, you're changing gloves, you're washing your hands over and over again. I mean, they're very, safety is paramount, and it's a relatively small number of volunteers, committed chefs, subcontracted, some, really, really great line cooks from restaurants like Viola and Officina. who are actually getting paid by World Central Kitchen. And all the World Central Kitchen, of course, is run through massive donations. You know, big name stars who don't really let this get out too much and don't brag about it are donating millions of dollars to Jose's organization. It's I feel like I'm honored every time I walk in there. And I get to be at the ballpark. Did I mention that? I mean, I'm kind of a Nats fan, and so you know the stadium's empty, and they're working on the field every day, and I think it's so great that the learners made this available. Plus, you know, guys to like drive these tracks of flats around, and the massive cleanup crews and things that are needed. I mean, it's just astounding, and these tens of thousands of meals get picked up by drivers and outside the stadium. It's a very organized system. They've really got it down, and I can't say enough about it.
They're working out of the stadium here in Baltimore as well. So we have a lot of the Baltimore chefs working.
I saw that, yeah.
Jose, you know, it's just friendly, giving soul. I remember years ago when I worked for Van Spices and working with him. So he is one hell of.
She was so great. I got to do her obit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bonnie, this has been great, and we've probably gone longer than what we said we were going to do. But you know, you can always come back. I'd love to have you back.
Let's make it a two-parter. What do you say?
We can make it a two-parter and get rid of this clicking. I don't know why, but I think once we're going to have you exit, I'll take out the earphones, and maybe that'll correct the situation.
Okay.
But thank you so much, everybody. www.bonniesbenwick.com, and her Instagram is bbenwick. And we're going to do a two-parter. And thank you so much.
Great. We'll try to take more questions. And if you guys want me to cook anything on Instagram or just let's keep in touch. I like the community that's building. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Pearlstone.
Big was.
Thanks, Jen.
Okay, and we're gonna. I think you have to click to go out.
I do.
Is there a button? There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Are we hearing the clicking? No. So it had to do something with the connection, and we'll have to figure that out. It gets better each week, so we thank you for staying with us. I wanted to cover a couple things here. Let me just switch the paper and the notes. Here in Baltimore, local news, very sad to say that the City Cafe has closed. Very sad because right before this whole COVID-19 started, they had their 25th anniversary. They will be missed. Gino and Bruce, we look forward to seeing you in some other format soon, and a great run, and thank you for many great meals. I also wanted to bring up that we were talking about cooking classes and people being online, and online Nancy McDermott does a cooking demo every day live, and Judy Witz Francini is in Italy, and she has recipes that are up, so it's something to look into. But there's something very unique coming this Saturday. It's Charm City's Night Market online. It's a unique cooking class. It's access to two of Baltimore's best Filipino chefs, and you will follow along with two iconic dishes. So they're doing one at 4 p.m. and one at 6 p.m. The host is City Seed School for Food. The classes will be identical. They will be on Zoom. They cost $20, which will benefit, benefit many people within the chefs and many people within the food industry. Once you register, the list of ingredients will be sent to you, nothing too hard to find, or you can contact La Cachera Restaurant, who is putting together the ingredients in a package that you can pick up for $15, $4 of which will go towards City Seeds. All proceeds from the sale of the tickets will be going towards ensuring our chefs will get compensated for their time and knowledge, along with providing meals to frontline healthcare workers. You will learn how to break down an entire chicken, create a Filipino dish, chicken adobo, a braised chicken dish, and tinola, comforting chicken soup. The link for this will be below the video, and possibly Jen will be spinning it up on this, but you'll be doing those dishes. Your ticket will include an exclusive pass into a Zoom chat room where you'll be able to watch the chefs cook the dishes. You will be able to cook along with them, ask questions during the process, or just watch along and cook later. I want to come back to Pearlstone Center. If you need kosher meals, contact the Pearlstone Center. They are honored to partner with the LifeBridge Health and Associated to say thank you to our healthcare heroes. Donate a farm-to-table meal from Pearlstone Kitchen to nourish these caregivers while they care for those in need. Visit pearlstonecenter.org/pearlstone-kitchen. Had great fun. I think Bonnie Benwick will do another show because she's great to chat to and has so much background and information that she can impart. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the Food Enthusiast. You can find me on Instagram at Dara Cooks. Email me at food@jmoreliving, and you will find this video up at jmoreliving.com within the next couple hours. Always thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next week, same place, same time. As always, may your plates always remain full.